Hey guys, Coach Bobby here from BC4 Performance. Today we're going to be talking about the comeback route and how we can focus on a couple different things that are going to allow us to sell it to the DB. We're going to put him in a bad position and then be able to snap it down and get out of the break. So when we're at the top, we create separation from the DB. We give the quarterback some room to throw. And we also create some separation for ourselves to make a move once we catch the football. So if you click through my YouTube channel, there's a couple different videos following this that are going to be me working with my players at a group session, and we're going to explain the attacking of the leverage in one video. The other video is going to be talking about selling it at the top in terms of peeking over the cornerback's shoulder and also how we can snap ourselves down. But right here, we just want to look at two examples. One's going to be bad, the other one's going to be good. So video on the right here, all right, looking at this one, this is a bad example. Okay, the wide receiver does not create separation, doesn't get away from the DB. So two reasons for this. Off the ball, he kind of lazily runs to the outside. So the DB is going to turn his hips to the outside, and it doesn't create any panic for him because he can open his hips to stay out here and just turn and run with the receiver. Okay, so what the receiver could have done as another option is he could have stemmed to the inside shoulder, and then when he wanted to break out, he could have broken out about here. That would have forced the DB to turn his hips to the inside, then quickly have to flip them to the outside. And then at that point, while the DB was flipping his hips, that's when he could have snapped it down. All right, so we always want to try and attack the leverage and then switch it up to put the DB in a bad position. Then at the top here, what we're going to see is when he goes to snap down, he actually sits down in a chair. And right here, we can see this. All right, his head and his back are back here, and then his legs are here. So he's sitting down in a chair. So when this happens, you don't get the full braking mechanism of throwing your hips down through the ground, throwing your head and your shoulders out over your knees a little bit. So number one, you don't break as fast. Number two, you don't have as much power to come back out. And I explained that in one of the videos. We reference this back to a squat. And so when the receiver does this, it takes him way too many steps to have to turn. And then you see him right at the very end there as he goes to get out of this, he stands straight up. So right now he is standing straight up. All right, so I'll play that in about half speed. So you're going to see him sit in that chair, and then he's going to stand straight up out of it because his weight's behind him and he's off balance. So when you do that, you're not balanced. There's no way you're going to be able to, at the top of the break, powerfully get out of that. If we watch this right here, okay, this receiver does a very good job of attacking the outside of the DB, and then at the top here, he sells it and then snaps his head down over his knees. Okay, so, and this is DB right here is actually Malcolm Butler. So very good NFL DB. So like I said, right off the bat, we attack the outside and get to that shoulder of the DB, the outside shoulder, and then we get into a foot race with him. So right now, DB's face to the sidelines, the wide receivers face up the field. So right now, he's winning the battle, right? In under 5 yards, we get to the point of these guys are at the same point. So now the DB is threatened, okay? Because he's still almost half running sideways. So because he's threatened, he has to open everything up, and now he has to start full speed sprinting to stay with the wide receiver. All right, wide receiver does a little bit of a stutter here, and now as he accelerates out, he gets further than the DB, and now he peaks. Okay, so now, because he's past and he's in front of the DB, so he's about a step, right? So right here, he's about one step in front of the DB, and once he peaks back, now Malcolm Butler is worried that the ball is going to come over the shoulder, and now he's worried about staying speed-wise with him down the field. So he's now in full sprint mode, but the receiver knows he's going to snap it off. Then he does a really good job of, right at that point, okay, he throws the head down, throws the shoulders down, and he's not sitting in a chair, okay? We could do a squat out of this position. We have our chest and our shoulders out over our knees. So now as he goes to make his break and turn to come out, we now have some power in these legs, and he doesn't have to stand up, so he's leaning out in this direction. Now he's able to get some power and some speed out because he's in a better position. And now he's able to create some separation. The DB or Malcolm Butler falls down. Now he goes to the outside and makes a nice catch. So like I said, guys, these are a couple things. So bad example versus a good example. We always want to make sure we attack the leverage, put the DB in a bad position, and then when we go to snap it off, we have to make sure we don't sit in a chair. We have to use those hips to throw them down through the ground and then get the head and the chest out over the knees to really slow us down and give us some power to get back out. So Check out these other videos, guys. Like I said, there's one that breaks down me talking about the leverage point. The other one is me talking about the top of it and how you can sell it. So check those videos out. All right, and I appreciate you guys checking in. We'll have a new video for you guys next week for Football Friday.